Hello and welcome to In Touch with Durham County. I am your host, Deborah Craigray, Chief Communications Officer. We're pleased to bring you a couple of innovative and exciting segments for our discussion today. In our first segment, we're joined by Kathleen Lockwood, a member of the Durham County Women's Commission. She'll share insights into the Commission's role and its contributions to the well-being of women in Durham County. In our second segment, we'll hear from Scully, the Agriculture Development Coordinator. Sherry will discuss the county's Agricultural Economic Development Grant Program. This program supports both traditional and non-traditional farmers, new and beginning entrepreneurs, schools, and nonprofits involved in agriculture. Kathleen Lockwood, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's just so good to have you join us today.
Yes, of course.
Looking forward to a great conversation.
Yes, me too.
Yay. So I know that you are on the Women's Commission, and as I understand it, the Women's Commission educates the community and advises commissioners on issues related to women. Is that about right?
Yes. So we are an entity up under the Durham County the Durham County Commissioners, and so we look for ways to get our community involved in issues impacting women and girls, and make sure that our county commissioners are aware of opportunities to support and improve the well-being of women and girls in Durham.
Wonderful, wonderful. So generally, what is your role within our local government?
So, as I said, we are an entity that was created by the Durham County Commissioner's Office. And so we educate the commissioners as needed and really work to be a connection between community partners that serve women and girls and lift up the issues impacting them so that we can look for opportunities for our local government to make a difference in women and girls' lives and really keep our community resources robustly addressing the well-being of women and girls.
And I'll just happen to mention that you're actually at this point serving an all-female Board of County Commissioners. What's that like?
Yes. Well, it's really convenient because women often know best what impacts women and girls. And I've often said that women are strong leaders in our community regardless of whether or not they're involved in boards and commissions. So I feel really blessed to be able to harness that expertise in the work that we're doing. And it really, you can feel when we have folks come talk to us about barriers that women and girls are facing, the women on our commission have direct experience with those issues. And so it really incentivizes us to brainstorm and be creative in the ways that we talk about these issues.
Certainly, certainly. So tell us how the commission is organized. Do you have like committees within the commission?
We do, and our committees are really focusing on what our goals are each year. So this year we have a community health committee that focuses on highlighting issues related to domestic violence, sexual assault, reproductive health care. We have a financial literacy committee, which works in conjunction with other community partners to make sure that women and girls in our community are aware of ways to increase their financial literacy, prepare for the future. We also have a steering committee, which more generally looks for ways to partner and topics that we should really be thinking about. And then we have a communications committee, which works really hard to take all these issues and keep an active Facebook presence for us so that we're promoting information, we're engaging, and we really appear as an open door for the community to talk to us about new ideas and new issues that we should be considering.
Oh, that's just fantastic. Now, how long have you been involved with the Women's Commission?
So I'm a little green on the Women's Commission, which has been an experience. I was appointed to the commission in April of 2023, so a little shy of a year. And I started as our commission chair in June, so late June, early July. But really as a chair, I don't see my role as dictating anything, just kind of doing the logistics to harness the good that we already have. And we have a lot of commissioners that have been with us for some up to 9 years. We'll be losing some really great institutional memory soon. So I've really enjoyed just getting to plug into a continuation of work that's really been going on for a long time with this commission.
Yeah. So, you said you're relatively new, but then you referenced someone who's been on around 9 years or more. How has the commission evolved over the past few years?
Yeah, so it's been an interesting story that I think would be familiar to a lot of folks where prior to the pandemic, we've had a really strong commission. I would say one of the strongest women commissions in the state. We've conducted research on our own and published it. We've had forums multiple times a year in person to engage with the community around particular issues, but when the pandemic hit, we really had to close in and go more towards remote meeting. We lost the momentum on a lot of those in-person activities and partnerships, and so we're excited that I really do feel like this year we're at a place where we're starting to gain momentum again. We're getting a lot of new commissioners with new, fresh energy. We're meeting in person again. We're thinking about partnerships and creating more in-person opportunities in the future. So I think we're really on the upswing after a little bit of a dip, and we can honor really that strength of many years of Women's Commission work that has educated and advised the community in really profound ways.
Yeah, and I think everybody can certainly relate to just kind of having to pivot during the pandemic and finding new ways to do the work.
Absolutely. Yeah, and one of the benefits of that has been that we've really started to look at partnership more as a way to get more engaged, and I think that really allows us to stay in touch with what's happening on the ground because we're working with folks who this is their jobs, this is their daily lives, identifying and working towards reducing barriers for women and girls. So there is an upside to change. It's just been a bumpy road, and we're happy to be on the other side of some of those challenges.
Wonderful. Well, talk about some of the events that you've had in the past or some that you're planning to have.
Sure. So like I said, we've been focusing on partnership a lot during this transition time. So we have found ways to volunteer and publicize events focusing on the health of women and girls. So conferences from Duke University focusing on women and girls' health will help with the check-in. We'll kind of publicize that. We also are working to co-promote an event coming up next month on financial literacy for women. So it will be presentations on things like estate planning. And there also will be vendors present to help community members engage with in the future how can they make sure that their financial literacy is on point, focusing specifically on women, but we know that when women succeed, our whole community succeed as well.
Absolutely.
And we're also looking for ways to do more volunteering and drives. So for example, within the last year, we've done a sanitary napkin drive just within our commissioners and brought that to the homeless shelter for women to just let them know we're here and we know what you're going through, and we'll be here to support you, hopefully, moving forward.
Very good, very good. Well, what drew you to the Women's Commission?
Sure. So in my day job, I work in domestic violence policy. And so I have a strong sense of some of the really extreme issues that women face, and I look at it more from a statewide lens. But I've been a member of the Durham community for almost 10 years now, and I really feel an obligation to give back to where I am and to learn about where I am, because Durham is a unique place. And so I was drawn to the issue of women because I know how strong women are as pillars in our community and how impactful supporting women and girls is to supporting everyone. And I wanted it to be specifically focused on our community here in Durham because I love where I live and I want to give back.
Well, certainly I see the passion. It shows through.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, tell our community, how can people join the Women's Commission if they have that interest?
Sure. So we often have vacancies, especially coming up later in the year when we're going to lose some of our longtime members. You can check the Durham County website for vacancies and apply, and we'll welcome anyone. And if you want to just come join one of our meetings, they are open to the public. They're the fourth Monday of the month at 6 o'clock. And also, if you want to kind of promote yourself as a partner, feel free to email us at durhamcountywomenscommission@gmail.com.
Great. Now, do you all provide an annual report to the commissioners either in writing, or do you appear before them once a year just to talk about what you've done over the year?
We haven't in recent years, but that's definitely a goal for us as we get building more momentum to really be a stronger presence in front of the county commissioners.
Yeah. So what would you say is the most important issue before women in our community?
Oh, it's hard to pick just one.
Yeah.
I think we've heard from partners as of late just about women's health in general. So, Black maternal health is a huge issue that impacts our community. And when you combine that with reproductive health access generally, which access has been changing in our state in recent years, I think the health of women, access to those resources, is a major issue that deserves a lot of attention. And I think resources like the Durham County's Women Commission can go a long way because we're able to collect information and share it so that folks know what's accessible to them and can access that, because there are still many great health resources in Durham, but there's a lot of fear and concern about the affordability of those things or access moving forward based on our state legislators' actions.
Absolutely. And speaking of the state legislatures, I would imagine that you probably follow what's going on in our General Assembly as it relates to women's issues.
We do, yes. So I'm fortunate in my day job to follow that closely, and there have been a lot of actions related, like I mentioned, to reproductive health care, but also our state is facing an affordable housing crisis, and Durham is not unique in that.
Right.
And so keeping track of what those relief options are and what that story looks like in Durham is definitely something that we've got our eye on moving forward.
Yeah. Well, oh my goodness, I can't believe our time has gone so fast. We've had a really great conversation. We just appreciate all that you and the other members of your team do to look out for the health and well-being of the women in Durham County.
Well, thank you so much for highlighting it. And anyone listening, we'd be happy to engage with you on this moving forward.
Yeah. So is there one thing that we didn't talk about you wanted to touch on before we go?
So I would say just the value of women in our community. Whether we are in these leadership positions or not, we know that women are leaders in our families, and what's best for women and girls is best for all of us. So just lifting up how wonderful it is to be able to have a resource like the Women's Commission as part of our local government to harness that. We're really grateful.
Great. And you mentioned that you have a Facebook page?
We do have a Facebook page. It's Durham County's Women's Commission. Feel free to find us on there, send us a message, and learn more about what we're doing throughout the year.
Well, Kathleen Lockwood, I've really thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, and I really am grateful for the passion that you bring to this work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll have to have you on again.
Yes, of course.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, you'll hear from Sherry Scully, Agriculture Development Coordinator. Stay with us.
I'm Samantha Smith. I'm the program manager for Deco Thrives. That's Durham County's new guaranteed income program. And tonight we had the kickoff launch event for that program, which was essentially inviting the community to come learn about people's experiences with guaranteed income locally as well as nationally. We watched a documentary about national guaranteed income programs and heard some really raw and touching stories about people's experience with that. And then we had a panel of people who both received guaranteed income locally as well as those who have participated in administering guaranteed income programs or brought a guaranteed income program to the city of Durham. And I hope that we will have a lot of applicants to our guaranteed income program when the application opens in 2024. And I also hope we'll have a lot of supporters in the community who see what an impact this makes on people, that, you know, it doesn't cause people not to work, that it empowers them and helps them be confident and have hope for a future.
Hey, Joe. You come here often?
Yeah, just waiting for my pills. High blood pressure and cholesterol.
Oh, that'll cost you.
I can afford it. I have NC Medicaid.
They cover prescriptions?
Yep. Doctor's visits, screenings, emergency care at low or no cost.
I tried to get it before, but I made too much.
Try again. You can earn more and still get NC Medicaid. Just go to the website.
I'm going to do that.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
¿Ya te has hecho una mamografía?
No tenía cómo pagarla.
Entonces conseguiste trabajo con beneficios.
No, sigo en lo mismo, pero ahora tengo Medicaid de Carolina del Norte.
Verifica si calificas. Visita másmedicaid.nc.gov.
Welcome back to In Touch. Joining us for this segment is Sherry Scully from Durham County Soil and Water Conservation. Hello, Sherry.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad you were able to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, this is an exciting program, and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Me too. Thank you.
Good, good. So could you start by telling us a little bit about your role with Soil and Water Conservation?
Yes, so I'm the Ag Development Coordinator, and I work with farmers and schools, citizens, and just whatever we're doing in the office. We have a small department, so we are all hands on deck with multiple things that are going on in the department.
Mm-hmm. Y'all are small, but I call you small and mighty because every time I turn around, you all are involved in something,
Yes.
which is great. Yes. So I understand that the Ag Economic Development Grant began in 2018. What's the purpose of this grant?
The purpose of the grant is to support agriculture in Durham County by providing cost share grants and assistance to farmers, nonprofits, and schools.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, who administers the grant?
The staff, which is myself and Lisa Morochek, administer the program, and then we are overseen by a committee. It's a 9-member committee with members who are from different ag backgrounds and agencies and have ag interests at heart. So they work to oversee the program and review it each year and also perform maintenance checks on different projects that have been completed through the grants. And they are the ones that review each application and allocate funds.
Awesome, awesome. So who is eligible to apply for this grant? Sounds like it's a big list.
Yes, anyone in Durham County can apply who has an ag business or works in the ag, as a nonprofit or as a school interested in outdoor environmental learning centers.
Now, you talked about the application. Sort of walk us through what that process entails.
Yes, so we release the application documents right after the budget is determined, and that determines our allocation for the grant. So once we release the documentation through social media and flyers, through public announcements, mass emails, that kind of thing on our website, applicants can apply up until the end of August. So we have a deadline each year. It's not an ongoing process, but just an application period of about a month and a half. We have training sessions that help people determine, if they're eligible, what best ways to apply and what projects best to apply for this application. And I always encourage people to call me. I love meeting people, and I encourage that because we have several different opportunities available through our department, and I don't want them to miss other opportunities. So call me any time of the year, and we can help you with other opportunities and make sure you don't miss this deadline.
Awesome, awesome. So what types of projects do people typically apply for?
So people apply for projects, really anything that helps the economics of their business. So greenhouses, pack and wash sheds, solar panels are becoming more popular,
Oh my goodness,
because we
yeah.
have UPIC operations that don't have a lot of power, irrigation. Schools apply for different projects like flower beds, garden beds, tower gardens that are inside the school. So just anything that promotes growing food production, outdoor learning centers, that kind of thing.
That is so nice. So why do you feel this grant program is so important to the community? Can you talk a little bit about its impact?
Yes, so this grant in the ranking process actually does encourage the support of minority and women business enterprises to apply, and it gives them a higher ranking, as well as newer beginning farmers. So the impact there is huge, because as land prices are high, it's harder to make those inputs into your business as a newer beginning farmer or a minority or woman. It really provides a lot of support there to get started and to keep going. It's not easy meeting deadlines every week at the farmers market and this kind of thing. So these projects can really help one's business and make it easier and more valuable then to continue. I really feel like in the community, with working with schools and teaching students the importance of vegetable growing and the appreciation of that, I think down the road we're going to see it turn around. Maybe they'll grow their own food and apply for this grant, or at the least they'll purchase locally from our farmers in Durham.
Very nice, very nice. Now, I'm really excited because this is an award-winning program. So last summer, the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners awarded this program the 2023 Civic Excellence in Innovation Award at their annual conference. And I was there with some of our other county officials, our county manager, and several of our commissioners. And so it was really nice when they called out Durham County's program.
Yes, thanks for accepting that award for us.
Yeah, so tell us about the award.
Well, it was just an honor to receive it. When I came on board here in the county, I was amazed that Durham has this opportunity, and I really it's pretty unique. One other county has it in the state that I know of. So I think that's why we were awarded the award. So
wonderful, wonderful. Well, let's talk about where people can see examples of the program. I think you all have a really good website that maybe has some videos and examples. Can you talk about that?
Yes, sure. One of the best parts of my job is hearing the testimonials of those people who have taken on the grant and been awarded their application. And so we decided to put these videos out there on our website. So please check them out. It shows the project that's complete, and they tell their story on how easy it is to use this grant. We walk applicants through every step of the application process and the contract. So,
what would you say people are most surprised about the grant program?
Most surprised? I don't know. I hope that in the end they're just really happy with the outcomes of how this is helping their business, and the stories that I hear, it really does help them shine themselves. So yeah. So is there a limit to how many opportunities or how many times you can apply for the grant? There's actually no limit to how many times you can apply. We encourage everybody to make their application, really show how it will support them and that kind of thing. In fact, when the committee looks and reviews at each application, all the personal information is redacted. Okay. So they do not see who's applying for the grant and have no way of knowing. Some people do apply more than once, but we have a lot of new applicants every year, which means I get to meet new people every year in the community who are doing great things. Yeah. So I can tell that you really work to put people at ease when they're coming in. And so do they mostly come into your office, or do they call you? How do they reach out to you? Mostly through phone call or email. We try to have outreach programs and breakfasts to meet new people, and then that, once they meet us, they send emails and phone calls to get in touch about this program and others. So. And so I understand you work with the schools. What does that look like? So we have a few schools. Actually, I've really tried to work with the Dine team recently as well. They are really in the schools and growing with students and producing food. And so this program in particular, the Ag Economic Development Grant, helps fund some of those projects in schools with garden projects and that kind of thing. So, our role in reaching out to teachers, whether it be through some of our contests or through this grant, is really a lot of fun. Yeah, so. Yeah, and I can imagine the students are really excited just to see things grow. Yeah, yeah, and digging up potatoes is something I've never tired of myself, pulling a vegetable out of the ground. So. Oh, that is so cute. Well, I have to admit, I actually spent this weekend with my 5-year-old granddaughter. We were putting out flowers. Oh, nice. Yeah, so she's, she has a little green thumb already. I love it.
Yeah, well, again, we want to just thank you for the work that you do because you know, it's like you touch most of the community and you have the opportunity to meet a lot of people and to get them involved and interested in growing things. It's wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so how long have you been with Durham County?
Not long, Deborah, and so I have to say your shows have really been great for me and my just over 2 years being here to learn about what other district or departments do in the county and how I can work with them to help the citizens of Durham. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, again, we just appreciate Durham County Soil and Water Conservation because you guys do so much. You touch so much. And I say you're a small staff, but you're a small and mighty team doing great work for us.
Yes, thank you.
So how can people get in touch with you?
They can check us out on our website, www.dconc.gov/SWCD.
Okay, and phone number?
Our phone number is 919-560-0558.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and keep doing what you're doing and helping our citizens.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yay. Well, that about wraps it up for today. We thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time on In Touch with Durham County. Cheers.